Are you a chronic overthinker? As am I. It's probably my biggest flaw besides having not big enough biceps yet. That is important, probably the most. I have 6 pieces of advice for people out there who tend to overthink because you're probably in your 30s now. Maybe you're not. But here's how to win your 30s. 30s is the age where a lot of your brain goes, I need to restructure my entire life. This is where most of the overthinking actually starts to happen. It probably repeats in the 40s and 50s as well, but this is how to get rid of that so that the rest of your 30s can be smooth sailing, or at least upward projection. Number 1 is shift into physical movement in general. Of course, I would bring this up. I'm obsessed with movement. I've been skateboarding my whole life, but recently I've gotten really into fitness. I have learned that for whatever reason, I feel like I need to sit in front of a computer and figure things out because that's how the world presented to me what work looks like. So many aspects of the world might not actually apply to who you are. For me, I feel kind of selfish. I'm like, I'm walking in the woods. I'm enjoying a beautiful day out in grass. This is actually where my brain works the best. This is where I come up with the best ideas. And this is where I feel like I am the most useful. I sit here and I go, man, what a good idea. Now I should go to a cafe, sit in front of a computer around a bunch of other people and write the idea. And then I immediately feel insular. I immediately feel enclosed. I immediately feel my ideas getting suppressed. And then I'm following other people's advice. And then I'm looking up YouTube videos. I'm doing too much thinking, too much planning. I'm overthinking. It's okay if your way of things that work or finding success doesn't look like hard work to others. Don't feel guilty about that. I follow content creators who literally set up a camera and go, honey, da-da-da-da-da, and they go, da-da-da-da-da, and then it has like 15,000 likes. I'm like, you didn't even do anything, but people find it relatable. Why would they need to make their job harder? They don't need to sit there for 2 hours going, how do I make the next video amazing? It's like, if people like the fact that you set up a camera and say a few cute things to each other, do it. Don't feel guilty. Stop overthinking. Get outside, move. Oh wait, back to my main point. Physical movement. This is it. It's trying to be free in the mind, and freedom of the mind does not come from thinking. Thinking just makes this whole thing cloudier. You need to be outside. You need to be moving around. You need to live in an environment where the weather is perfect all the time. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's not going to be that way for everyone always, but stepping outside in general, even if you live in an area where the weather sucks during the summer, Texas, pretty brutal. I'm going to figure out a way to be outside, whether it be early in the morning, late at night. You got to get out there. You got to move around. And I would 100% develop a fitness routine, a physical, a 3 days a week workout. For me, I try to do every day some kind of movement. I try to work out outside if the weather permits. I need to be outside. This is where I belong, and I'm not going to criticize myself for that for now on, which I have done for years. I've been like, what are you, being lazy, being outside? Get inside and work. And it's like, I'm working. Like, this is how I work. This is where my brain works the best. And I have found the best results from that. So for me, the advice would be, stop feeling so guilty about doing things that look like play to others. Number 2 is limit the information inputs. If you have a path that you're on that you're excited about and you have defined that, I think I've made another video on this channel about that. I'll link that down below about like how to find the thing that you specifically should be doing. If you find that, then it's about not allowing other people to give you information that knocks you off your track. And this is really easy when you're watching YouTube constantly, when you're watching shorts constantly. I have completely cut out short form content from my life, which is incredible. I deleted YouTube and Instagram off my phone. I never use Twitter. I definitely have never used TikTok because I'm too old. And on my computer, I actually have a plugin on YouTube that doesn't show my Explore feed. So when I get on YouTube, I have to type in what I want to watch. I have control of the algorithm, which is kind of incredible, but still when I type something in, I'm like, oh, I turn into a zombie. And I know that I will always be a zombie if short form content gets in front of me. I will never be able to control myself to that. That's fine. I'm too weak to have social media on my phone, so I delete it. I delete all inputs. But what you can do, this is why people have inspirational boards, or what's it called? I literally forgot the expression for those boards that you have on your desk that have like, you know, your future, your inspiration, words that motivate you. This is insane. How have I forgotten the word? The inputs you receive should motivate whatever path you're on. So right now, if I'm like, I know the things that make me feel good, and sometimes I'll listen to music that I kind of want to listen to, but it totally throws me off my path. It's like this weird indie kind of sad stuff that I used to listen to a lot, puts me back in the mindset of back, and makes me think, what am I doing? I should be doing what I was back then. Really good at accents, by the way. But instead now I'll listen to house music. I never listened to house music, but I'm like, I have energy. It like puts me in this elevated state. I like this. And then the inputs I have, it's like, if I'm making videos where I want to come across a certain way or have a certain vibe, then I'll try to follow creators that have that same vibe, that same atmosphere. And then it's the only thing I'm getting in are things that I can reflect out. And that to me, I think is important. Also, creating more than you're consuming. That's what people say. That's like impossible because I could consume for 4 hours a day. It's pretty hard to create for 4 hours a day. But if you can shift that, unstoppable. Number 3 is to create faster feedback loops. So if you have this overall mission where you're like, I want to write and illustrate a book in a year, write down how many pages that book is going to be. Boom. That's one of the goals. Next, storyboard 3 pages. Boom, that's one of the goals. Those are the feedback loops. So it's not just creating the big goal, but creating all the iterations of the goal until you have the list of things you can do in one day or the thing you can do every single day. So it's like in 30 days, if I want the goal to look like this, if I want to have written and illustrated 1 chapter of a 12 chapter book, oh, that's perfect. And if each chapter is about 15 pages, then every 2 days you need to have written and illustrated 2 pages. So for me, if the goal is to make videos like this for a living, what is the only thing I need to focus on? Making videos like this every single day, showing up, talking, scripting, writing, any of that. But again, as I mentioned before, everything works better for me outside. So I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing I should be doing. And the faster feedback loop is posting this and seeing if people engage with it or care about it, or what titles and thumbnails may have gotten more views in the future, which basically means how many more people are interested in that specific topic. And then how do I lean into that topic? Because whatever I'm making videos about right now, I enjoy already. I'm making sure not to fall into the trap of making things I don't want to make and then seeing, oh my God, everybody loves this, and then being stuck making that thing forever. That's the trap you don't want to fall into. Number 4 is track effort, not results. So don't track, I got 10,000 subscribers doing this. The effort is how many videos are you going to make? If you're a YouTuber, it's easy for me to speak in YouTube terms because that's what I've been doing for 10 years. But one piece of advice that people bring up all the time is Mr. Beast. When a creator comes up to him and says, how do I do what you do? He says, go make 100 videos and come back to me. They either don't make 100 videos or they do and they come back to him, or they don't have to come back to him, right? So he never has a follow-up because whoever makes the 100 videos kind of quickly realizes what they should or shouldn't be doing. That's a lot of work. But he doesn't tell them, oh, well, just try really hard to get 100,000 subscribers. It's like, no, just go make 100 videos. Like, what's the action that you can actually do in the thing that you're trying to be? So if you're like, I want to be a professional artist, so ethereal, so hard to kind of be like, it's like, okay, do 1,000 paintings, do 100 paintings, like create 100 paintings and post all of them on Instagram. Because also, if you're trying to be successful in anything out there that isn't social media, you don't need a big following. You don't need big engagement. You really just need to create a portfolio. So if you have your Instagram, you just have 100 posts or 100 paintings or drawings you did, you can just show that to anyone. They don't care if you have 5 followers or 1 follower or 10,000 followers. You just be like, this is the work I do. Is this the kind of work you want? And if they're hiring for illustration, they go, yeah, that's exactly the kind of style I want. You don't need a following. Number 5 is really important. Define done. When are you finished? When have you done the goal? When is the point in which you do need to pivot? That I think is really important. And that's always been hard for me because I've always thought 1 million subscribers, 1 million subscribers. And then I hit it and I was like, well, cool, I did it. Actually, that was a good goal because then I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, how do I pivot out of this? How do I do content in a different way that's more fulfilling, more enriching, more energy inducing? What am I trying to lean into? And for me, what I realized is like, there's aspects of the thing that I like to do. And what it was like, I really like the filming process. I don't like this, I don't like being a part of this kind of community as well. Like if I made a type of video, it would kind of automatically put me in front of people who I'm like, oh, I don't really want to be a part of those people. What I realized is that I want to make, what's funny is I like the parasocial thing. Like I want to make videos that gas people up, that they find and they go, oh my God, this is like the homie I wanted today. This is the homie that showed up and told me to stick with this and stick with this. Like all these other people in my life have been like, and it's like, no, I want this guy, John Hill, that's my name, to gas me up and tell me to keep going down the path that I was going on. That's what I want people to have and feel when they watch my videos. So hopefully it is somewhat helpful to find. Oh yeah. So right now, done for me actually looks like 100 YouTube videos. I told myself I'd make 100 videos. So that's what I'm doing right now. And when I'm done, it's at 100 videos, that's when I can pivot and decide, but it's sticking with that path regardless, and make sure it's something you can do within a year so that you're not like, well, I told myself I'd stick to this for 15 years and turns out that I hated it the first 6 months and I've hated it ever since. Like, you don't want to have, I would say try to come up with something that you can actually do relatively within like 3 months. 100 videos for me, I've just made so many that I know I can stick with this path for a long time. Number 6 is a weird one. I don't know how to explain it, but it's useful to me. But there are no wrong answers in creating. There are no wrong answers in doing. When you're actually doing the thing, there's nothing you're doing wrong. Like, you are not wasting your life. You're not being lazy. Like, if you've defined this path that excites you, any version of doing it is the right thing to do. And I think you just need a constant reminder around this. We tend to overthink because sometimes things take like a year to where before we even feel the traction. But if you have a vision of being a painter, you're never making a mistake painting. You're never making a mistake investing or figuring out a way to navigate your life around being able to do this one thing more often. Doing the creating is the right answer. Overthinking is the wrong answer. So one way that helps to stop overthinking with this last example is every time you are thinking or planning too much when you already know what you should be doing, you already know that creating is the path. Every time you're doing that, tell yourself, I'm on the wrong path. When you think, you're on the wrong path. When you create, you're on the right path. And for me, I always know when I'm planning, when I'm writing out, when I'm thinking, I'm like, what you're doing right now is wasting time. All you're doing is wasting time. And sometimes I'll allow myself to waste time because I'm like, sorry, dude, I'm stuck in this right now. I have to overthink right now. It's like, that's fine. You're wasting time, but it's cool. That's fine. You know, nothing's being made. You're not making anything. You're not moving forward. You're not making the world a better place. You're totally wasting time. But if that's what you need to do, think about it as the thing that you shouldn't be doing. Don't beat yourself up too much over it, but I think it's okay to beat yourself up a little bit when you do things you know you shouldn't be doing. Anyways, if you just want help figuring out what you should do based on your skill sets, watch my last video here.